What has been totally lacking from the party opposite has been any awareness of the sense of public outrage that people could be treated as the President of the Board of Trade treated them when he announced the closure of 21 pits. Individual members may have taken a different view. It was callous, it was brutal, it came from a party that prides itself on a citizen's charter and a class of society, and that is why hundreds of thousands of people are marching in London today. And this little seminar on gas prices doesn't get near what this whole argument is all about. And everybody knows on our side of the House that this is a sustained attack upon the mining industry because the previous Prime Minister regarded the NUM as the enemy within. That's what it's about. Of course, that's what it was about. The term the enemy within was covered for that reason. And it gives me huge pleasure that the Tory party threw out Thatcher and the miners re-elected Scargill, because that man told the truth. And truth still has a value in the politics of our society when all the lies and half-truths and half-promises about independent reviews are dismissed. The President of the Board of Trade said he agonized over the decision. He's not the one who's going to suffer the agony if any pits are closed. If he'd agonized, why didn't he have the review while he was agonizing, so people could have put alternative views in when he was discussing it? Why not spend months? I've got a letter here from Cecil Parkinson's office telling someone who wrote from Derbyshire the privatisation of electricity will have no effect whatever on coal closures. Ministers have lied and lied and lied about the mining industry, and that is why people are so incensed. And don't tell us it's market forces. If market forces applied to the farming industry, half the farms in Britain would have closed years ago, because you can get cheaper food from New Zealand and Australia, and the Tory party depends on the farmers. So they support, and I'm in favour. I'm not in favour of applying market forces to farms. You can't close a farm one year and open it the next. But the miners haven't had set-aside grants where they're given money not to produce coal, and that is the reality of this debate. Now, I might add, they're prepared to pay a lot of money to the gamblers 2 weeks ago when it was the so-called market forces working on the currency, and that, I think, has played a part. Now, let me turn to what is required. What we require now is a re-examination of energy policy, bringing the fuel suppliers, the fuel industries and the suppliers and the customers and the unions together. We did it from 76 on, all the papers were published, the discussions were serious, and then when you do that, you have to ask what's the objective of energy policy. I tell you, one of the objectives the last Labour government published, very simple. The objective of energy policy was that everyone should have heat and light at home. Not a bad energy policy objective, in which you recognise that energy in the end is judged by whether people can get hold of it or not. Somebody said to me the other day, if there's excess coal, why don't you give it to the pensioners? A very sensible argument. You give it free to the generating board, who pump it down the wire as the chief elect. Well, the honourable gentleman nods, shakes his head, but that's an energy policy. But it's one they don't believe in, because they do believe in profit and not in people. And that's what this whole argument is about. Of course, you've got to look at imports, open cast.
Order. I understand there is a point of order. I hope it is a point of order.
It is indeed. Madam Deputy Speaker, is it in order for the Right Honourable Gentleman to rewrite history?
Order. Order. One moment, Mr. Benn. That is clearly not a point of order, and I take strong exception to the use of points of order in that way, by either side. Mr. Benn.
Well, I hope that time is taken out, because I'm making a serious argument that's got more in common with what people outside think than the sort of little arguments we've had from those opposite. I finish with saying this, Madam Deputy Speaker. The vote tonight is not going to determine this matter, and if anybody thinks it is, they made a great mistake. The British public have been awakened, not just on the mining industry, but to the whole rotten philosophy of the 1980s, that it's all about cash, and you bring in a chartered accountant and he'll tell you what to do. It isn't about that. It's about whether our society puts people in a place of dignity and serves them, or whether you just hand over your money to gamblers who don't create any wealth at all. Arthur Scargill has been rehabilitated more quickly than any man I have known. In 24 hours, everybody knows he was right. The miners did. And what has happened, and I've warned the government about this and I finish with it. What's really happened is after 10 years, when people have taken things they should never have taken, there is a return of self-confidence and hope. Yeah. And it was self-confidence and hope that got Mandela out of prison, that got the Berlin Wall down, and will get the president out of his office in favour of a better sort of society. Yeah.